All right, let's get this ball going. Everything looks to be going correctly. Yeah, we all look good. Okay, so I took a quick peek. Didn't like all the starting equipment and everything else we'd have to be doing with the fresh start. New farmer start with they give you all the equipment in the farm. On this map, this is the area you get, plus 2, 3, 4, 5 fields. I'm kind of looking at two things here. $308. We're going to need more than 1 million. There is other fields, other places I'd like. This is my favorite look farm setup on this map. Another one of them is this one here. Then you've got just a shop annex, kind of a place here. And then, of course, the one you usually start with, which is this setup right here. This is the one I prefer. Even though I prefer it, I remove most of the buildings. So what I'm contemplating is with $1 million, we've got a couple options. Number one, these are all purchasable areas. That is these areas right here. You can buy the sawmill. My problem with the sawmill is the stuff we need to be able to get all the items we wanted done to do in game, which is fix the elevator museum thing, get the roller coaster up, which is right here, and then there's a park over here we can bring stuff to build. So what my thoughts are for this playthrough is I want to get all of this back up and running. Be farming most of this map and going from there. Now, something we could do is start here and start with let's see here. I'm thinking this sawmill, correction, this sawmill here, a chainsaw tractor to get all of this stuff done. Eventually, we'll go and chip off all these rocks and clean this whole area up. That way, this field can be harvested. At the same time, I was thinking about buying this setup in, putting a sawmill here, or buy one of these areas and put one here. Get this field, couple tractors, and some other things, do a bunch of contract work, and do the lumberjacking there, and possibly do some over here, or put this in, which is not a bad idea to run this greenhouse if we're going to be doing a lumber mill. And some really good money. So it's a thought. So that's what I'm kind of leaning towards right now, is let's do it that way. We're going to go ahead and buy this spot here. We're going to see how much more we're going to need. Because I'm not 100% yet. I think because I don't want to go to and give us too much stuff. So what I'm going to do is sorry, I got a bunch of itching in my cast because I went to the store, which of course got me all outside and doing a bunch of stuff. Bump the humidity up underneath the cast, so a bunch of that skin is all the stuff that's been stuck up under there got damp from the humidity and whatnot, and now that it's starting to dry out, it's getting really itchy. So what I'm going to do is we're going to load ourselves up with more money than it's going to take. This one and this one. What it is, I could probably do away with this one also. But I kind of want to keep that one there. So, And now that I've been doing stuff and trying to get that filled with stuff going in there and moving my hand in some odd ways, now it's giving me issues. Okay. Let's go ahead and set up our house. And I'm going to run the barn dominium for our house. That looks square. Oops. We're not going to be able to do that yet. Because I was standing right where I wanted to put that. Let's go with good old case red. That's far enough down, I believe. And we'll go and do a full walkthrough and give you a full ideas of what we're doing here. I think that's about as straight as we're going to be able to get it. Get this one. About there. That's going to be enough. Tools we'll come back to. Actually, I need something from here first. Now we can go back to those. Yep. And then the final thing is this one. All right. That's all of our barn setups. Now, eventually, we will be putting solar on this building, solar on this back roof side here, because we can't get an angle correct for that one. That looks pretty much solid. Eventually, one of these days, we might go and redo the gravel No, I think I'm going to go and just not really cheese it, but move it inside the comfort range. Be nice if there was outlines to make it easier to line this kind of stuff up. And because of that cast being on my dominant hand, it makes those fine motor controls non-existent. Okay. I went a little too far. Let's put a couple of these in. Two. Don't think we're going to get another one in there because I want this in there. Okay. Get that gravel. Wrong gravel. That's the right one. Looks good. All right. So the next thing we're going to do is go back to productions. Yeah, could have moved it a little close to the power pole, but I think that'll work. We got that in. All right, this will be once I do a flyover to confirm it. Silage production, that. We're going to do one last thing, which is that looks great. That looks great. Comes down to which direction do we want it to be facing. Let's do it that way because that's the direction you would think it would be in real life. Okay. It's everything there. Canola. Let's go ahead and buy that. Buy this one. I don't want to mess with harvesting this field. I don't want to get into root crops yet. We will be getting there eventually. And what I think we're going to concentrate on now is that's wheat, I believe. It is. Do we want to do another thing of oats? Or just call it there? Actually, no, we are going to buy that one also. Precision farming. All right. Also, I have this set on normal instead of a higher setting than that. So let's go ahead and get the last thing we're going to place. Unless I discover I missed something. That looks pretty darn straight. Nope. Good enough for government work. Let's see how bad this goes. A little bit out, but we'll survive. That's a headache lift, header rack lift. And then over here, we'll be able to put the trailer for one of the headers, for the headers. All right. Now, how do we want to do equipment on here? There are a couple things we're going to do unrealistic on. Flat out, right off the get-go. And we're going to buy them right off the bat. One of them, definitively, it's going to be this right here. And the reason it's going to be unrealistic is what it's going to be used for. The stone scraper is going to be unrealistic for width and capacity. Because it just takes too much time on those contracts without it. Lime spreader is going to be unrealistic capacity. So we don't have to keep going back and forth or loading it with lime or paying a driver doing it. So that's 3 of them. This is going to be unrealistic. To save trips back and forth again when it comes to we're going to do a lot of contracts, and these will be clearing the straw. I don't think I'm going to do my unrealistic semi-trailers like I usually do. I think we're going to run those realistically. Just for something different. I do it so often where it's unrealistic. And then the final thing, we're doing unrealistic. Actually, two things. And it's purely running this at 10 meters. Is basically the width of most of your mowers that you're able to do with just tractors and some other things. So we're going to run it basically like this setup. This is 9.4 with these two on a tractor. This is just shy of 10 meters. 7 meters. Now, of course, you've got these guys, which are huge. And I'm not sure if we're going to run those. The nice thing about this is $5,000 per modification. So you change that to a mulcher, it's $10,000. If you want it to be a multi-roller, it's $5,000. For a farmlands roller after you plant or a grasslands roller, you have to switch them back and forth. You got tedders, you got a cultivator, and you got plows, and a weeder. You know, so and it's only $5,000 every time you change it between the different settings. But that's not the plow I think I'm going to use this round. This is going to be unrealistic. And we're going to do one other tank that is slightly unrealistic. Could be super unrealistic at 200,000 liters, but we're just doing 50,000 liters. All right, so what we've got going is this here, and it's the whole reason we do it, is this can be ran with the tractor with that following to clear fields. We don't even have grass field yet, but I'm just planning ahead. This is going to be needed eventually. We're going to use this. Unfortunately, on this map, I'm going to double check and see if we can do it right here and collect water from there. But like on some maps, you can do stuff like that one doesn't have water in it. You can make a divot into like a water ditch or something like this and actually pull water from there to do crops and whatnot. This map, at least right here, you can't pull water out of that ditch. I've tried it on a previous playthrough. Let's see. Let's go and look at our tractor setup. And right now, I'm actually leaning towards... This is our farm tractor. We'll get some strobes on it. We get these things because they don't charge us anything. Marker lights are amber. I don't know what that frame does. I haven't been able to find anything that will attach to it. I'm figuring I'm just not looking in the right place. And I'm not planning on using front loader attachment on this. But that tractor is what we'll use for liming fields and doing a bunch of other things. Stone picking, because most of these fields are flat. I'm thinking about one of these. I'm just not sure if I want to do the forestry edition in the medium or in the large. I'm leaning towards the 517 horsepower in the large setup. Okay, don't have those. High traction. You could, is this the one that does it? You got the Pro Grip. This is what you would use actually off-road doing lumber. Gives you massive amounts of traction. Okay, doesn't do anything other than high friction. I was hoping for wheel weight sets. Don't have it. We are going to do a bull bar with a winch. We're doing the forestry version. Window tint. Blinker. Safety beacon, no. Flasher, yes. Azara Pro. This has a winch up front. So we can, when we cut trees down on that small field, we can use this winch to pull them to a distribution thing we're going to have. I didn't buy it. I did all that and I exited out. Ah. The 517. High friction. Forestry. Yes. Yes. Tint. Flashers. Azara Pro. Alright. This is a little bit on the pricier side. Because we're going to be doing 2 of these. At a lot more horsepower. Ground King with weights. Warriors trim. Yeah, we'll run the small beacon bar because I think it looks better than this one. We're going to do the quickie connection. Because at some point we're going to need to use a front loader in this playthrough. So we got 2 of those. 2 other tractors. Unfortunately, we are only able to do 4 items at a time before it starts sending the stuff to the actual store. And instead of getting in these things and moving them around, we're just clearing the area. All right. That's all done. We've got semi. I'm trying to justify a pickup gooseneck setup. And I'm not having any luck. I think we're going to hold off on the semi, the truck, the trailers, extra trailers and stuff for now. It's more stuff we got to build up to. That's why I'm going to hold off on it. I'm thinking about running this. For some of the contract work, moving things around, picking up damaged vehicles, things of that nature. Where I was using my gooseneck on in a different playthrough. Let's... hold off on that because I'm going to have to do a lot of thinking. So I think I'm still going to... I think I'm better off getting the pickup truck with the gooseneck. Or the semi step with this step deck. Because at least with this step deck, I could have a ramp all the way across. And there's some types of vehicles you need that. And there's also the bailing contracts. So I think what I'm going to do is go with the semi and that trailer. And if we're going to do that, we're also going to do the Load King instead of these guys at unrealistic capacity of 1 billion liters each. That Super B it's the same capacity. $28,000 cheaper. I just always preferred this style of hopper trailers over this style. Partly because when it came down to when I was doing this stuff, you got worse fuel mileage with these than the other ones. But we don't want to go with that one with this. Actually, you know what? it wouldn't be that bad of an idea to run that trailer. Because of what I'm looking at running on the combine. 2 full loads of the combine will fill up the straight trailer, where it takes 3 loads from the combine to fill this up. One more load out of the combine with this. And the other benefit is there might be times where, you know, a little bit of that first field, you know, when we're doing multiple contracts, can, you know, do one of the compartments in this one, and then the rest of it could be that whatever field we're working on then. I think we're going to go with this one. Whew. That was a heck of a coffin fit. Yeah, we'll run with that one. That's good. That's good. Now, I'm not sure how that loads in on our selling point. Okay, it only takes up 1 spot. I wasn't sure if that was delivered in 2 pieces or not. All right, so the next thing we're going to do is combine. We're going to run the Colossus here. And we are going to run at the 25,000 liters, which is on the larger size of all the base combines. So we're not going unrealistic capacity on that. We're unrealistic on the horsepower and the speed we're going to be able to do, but that's it. Okay. So our next question is headers. How much time do we want to take on harvesting the fields? I think what I'm leaning towards is I would like to run the unrealistic at the base width for that speed capability. But let's run it at 10 mile an hour. We're not going to run the transport wheels. Because of the way everything works. And by that, I mean this header trailer will work on either of these heads. So all we need is 1 trailer. And this one doesn't have a wheel option, so you always have to have that trailer anyways. One, two, three. Okay, these things probably take up. Yeah. So the corn header is not going to be needed yet. We'll just go ahead and put this straight away. And something I always try to do is the first time I get in my combine, I make sure I enable the straw swath. Because if I don't, I always forget. I'll throw a helper on this while I go take off to do something else, and I'll come back and the half the field's done, and I never got the straw swath started. Okay, so actually, we're not going to do that. We're going to go here. All right. Okay, and the semi. Almost always go, I like the 379. Let's do it. And I'm not going to do what I usually do. Oh, wait, not that way. We're going to go this way. We're not going to run a sleeper and everything else on this one. All right, so visors on here. This will run a better one than that. I like that one. With the forward facing ones too. Lights on the cabin. I think it's number 3. Yep. Yep. That's all done. Stickers, vinyls, no. Bumpers. That one. I like the aerodynamic. Class, a single tent. Yes on a round rear view. Because you shouldn't be driving a semi-truck without a convex mirror. I'm not going to worry about that. Cab protector, yes. We're going to run that one there. The visor, we're going to go back to that. Those are good. Okay, now fenders. Do we have it where it goes solid? No, we don't. Okay. We don't have something that closes all of that out. That is our semi-truck. It's not as fancy as I usually run because I usually RP it where it was my over-the-road rig, so I have a sleeper and everything else on it. Kind of curious. I'm hoping it fits. Designed to. No, I use the chrome because it works better than the silver, in my opinion, to look like aluminum. All right. Perfect. All right. So what we're going to have, what we've got here, let's look at our inventory. Okay, we do not have a fertilizer. All right, I've got an idea of what we still need. Going to just throw this one out over here for now. Get that one out, get that out of the way. We need to go through all of our settings. Actually, that'd be about where the hitch would be on this truck. All right. So what we have left is we're going to need a plow. And we're just going to run this one. We've already got the rock scraper. And for this first year, we're only going to worry about planting crops that this can handle. All right, where am I missing it? There it is. We need this. Now, for the big ticket item, what are we going to do for a sprayer? What I'm leaning towards, the problem with these is you don't have the See and Spray or the pulse width modulation. So you go through a lot more product when you use it. Now, these additions are extremely expensive. See and Spray pulse width modulation. What's this got also? It's got one other thing you can add to it. Weed spot and... Oh, the Asaro Pro. The See and Spray is the same as the weed spot spraying. And we've got the option for this guy. That is a very expensive piece of kit. I think what we're going to run is this one here with both of these. Eventually, we will probably move up to this, but we're not going to start with one of those. It's not bad to start with these two. Not out of the realm of realistic. Let's get the last of this out of the way. And I keep time turned off until I'm actually doing farm work, not getting all my equipment. When I start with a equip farm, I don't shut the time off. I just start working. Okay, so we're gonna get one other thing. Let's see what 10,000 liters solid fertilizer, 10,000 liters of seed. So we are going to get one more trailer. And they're going to do it to me. They're not going to give me one with right around 10,000 liters. $8,000. Okay. It looks like we might be... Do we want to just go ahead and get the pickup? And then we change the beds later down the line. No, let's get a trailer for it. Oops, before we go any further, let's get our chainsaw. really should get some counterweights, but we'll hold off on that. Okay, that goes up to 8. All right, we're going to do this one. And the nice thing about this is we can take the sides off and use it to go get pallets of seed and some other things if we ever need to. And for 9,000, that'll work. Okay, so boom, boom, boom. Okay, I do believe we are set. If we need anything else from the store, we'll pick it up at the store. I just cleared it. Go into settings. I do not like traffic because it always gets in my way. They drive horrendously. Periodic plowing is on. Crop destruction is on. We manually turn the engines on. If we ever take a loan out and we want 10 maximum contracts per type. Okay. Now, what I'm going to do is tip left. Solid fertilizer. And this round is going to be seeds. And this little trailer is primarily going to just be used to move these items. So anytime it shows 8,000, it can take 8,000 liters. We'll do it. water, liquid fertilizer, water. And I just remembered something that I should have grabbed already. Because usually you need to keep the vehicle hooked up to these trailers for them to automatically dispense. And you're not going to be that nice to me. So those two are done. I'm not going to go and switch up and grab a different one. $25,000, I think it is. Yes, it is. So let's go and try to get close to 25 as we can. The blue container will not do diesel. Ah. Unfortunately, we can't put diesel into this tank. Or any others. I am just going to take the hit on it. If this works, we'll have to do 2 trips for this. Nah, we'll let it fill up the rest of the way on its own. I really hope it works, because automatic watering doesn't seem to be working as good as it should. Yeah, so let's me do it. That's always a nice bonus. So what we'll do is fill up all of the greenhouses and stuff first, and then drop the excess off at farm production, and then turn automatic watering on for everything else. On everything, that way it will supposed to hold it, keep itself watered, but it doesn't stay at 100%. I see them dropping all the time. Oh, that's not good. That's not good. That's not going to work right. Oh, hold on. 30. There it is. Right there. That can't be right. We're going to test something right now. All right. Greenhouses, this, drop it down. Oh. I guess it is right. Man, that's a lot of water to hold. I did not remember it holding that much water. With that being the case, we are going to go ahead and finish topping that off and refill this water container again. Because this is free water, unlike when we go and tell it to automatically refill. See, the issue I've had in the past is when I have my bin really close to greenhouses and things of that nature, I've had it actually collect water. I'd start, even though this is not supposed to be a liquid silo, I've had it collect water up before. All right, so let's go ahead and head down and refill this one last time. We're going to set up our all the automatics. You know, the greenhouses for what they need to do and that kind of stuff. And then start the time and start harvesting. Oh, once we get, I'm going to go back through all our inventory of equipment again. And you generally, besides these water tanks, your start farms usually give you all of this stuff. Now, what you wouldn't get is like the flatbed trailer for the semi. that is not a usual uh, flatbeds are not always on your starting map. Uh, Starting farm kind of loadouts. Most of them don't give you a flatbed, but they'll get most of them will give you some kind of trailer that you can take sides off of. This one doesn't, but that don't mean nothing. So we get that stuff going, and I just heard something, so I'm going to step away for just a moment. All right, that's done. We're going to leave this here because we will eventually need it to fill up diesel again. And I'll be back momentarily. Okay. I'm going to be needing to take a break here shortly. Prolonged one. So let's get this looking at everything. Coffee is going to be distributing. Turn that on. All of those are going to be distributing. Oh yeah. Enable watering. Turn on, turn on, turn on. Wood chips. We're not going to turn that on. And we enable watering. Automatic sell. Automatic sell. I have an issue because you think about it, you can't hold lettuce for prolonged periods without it going bad. And what I do is, this is generally the best selling products. So all of this is turned on, watering is set up, the sawmill will hold off until everything starts coming in. So wood chips we can make all of this stuff with too. So what we'll do is we're going to make long these three. We're not going to do the shorts. Once some wood chips start building up, we'll make the shorts out of the chips, and it's all going to go to selling, but we'll wait for some wood to build up. Coffee, we'll turn that on after an hour when it has some product. But what we will do is No, we're not going to do this. We're going to do this. When we do turn it on, we're going to have it up at 200%. I think it can run 300 with just the greenhouse. So that's what we'll run. We'll find out if we're still gaining on the raw. We'll bump it again. Okay, so that's all of that. Inventory. We got our seeder, planter, whichever one it is. I switch them back and forth. Tractor. Okay, we have enough tractors. We've got that. We got that. Okay, we are done. Wrong one. I thought I did that right. I must have backspaced too often. 100, 1, 2, 3. There, that's what we were looking for. So, that's pretty close to what starting farms would be about that price tag with all the equipment and fields. So we are good. We're set. I'm not sure when I'll be getting back on tonight, but it will be on this map. And we'll basically be starting harvest and running contracts for the rest of the day. But that's where I'm going to hold it for now. And we will